Hi, and welcome to Chat and That podcast. I'm going to embarrass this person, but I am actually very, 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 very excited. I have been wanting to do this show for ages. This person is an award-winning filmmaker. This person was very, very, very high on my list. I miss this person a lot in the MMC. You know them as the legend of the MMC. So everyone, put your hands together for the one, the only, the person, the myth, the legend of the MMC, the great Matt Warlow. Woo!
So nice. So many Matt, adjectives.
I can't express a beautiful human being. I'm not saying
Thank
that.
You.
Beautiful human being. And you're an icon to a lot of people in the MMC. And this is a podcast that I've wanted to do for ages.
Yeah, I've been wanting to be on the podcast. I've watched, I think, most of them.
Really? I've
been watching them. It's a good time. It's like a nice thing to like just chill out. And it's like it's great because it's like all of my friends are on it. And it's like
I'm hoping
it's good to see everyone. So
yeah, that's nice. It's nice that you've been with Cullum and Calum.
Yeah.
And everyone else. But it's so nice to have you back. It's really
good.
Nice.
It's so good to be back. I think it's just like being in TV Studio 2 underground in the bunker in the MMC.
You are missed.
Yeah.
You are missed a lot.
I miss everyone here, so it's
It's not the same. It's seriously not the same.
I'm glad that I've left some sort of indent for people to
get a plaque on the
Just have a statue. One of those ones you get on like a park bench, but it's like sat on like one of the seats on the MMC. Like
no, even better, you should get a cardboard cutout of yourself. Like the Agnes Varda one.
Oh yeah, like the Agnes Varda one in the BFI. I tried to go there yesterday to the BFI shop because I was in London on the way to Winchester because it's like you go from Waterloo and that's where the BFI is. So I was like, but it's closed. Because I was there at like 9. I was like 9 in the morning, so it's like I wanted to see that Agnes Varda cardboard cutout. It's like something.
I did try and get it for you, but I was thinking I'm not spending like 70 quid for it. It's 70 quid.
70 quid. That's actually not as much as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to put that on a Christmas list.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a GoFundMe where I'm going to get everyone to chip in
to buy an Agnes Varda one.
Yeah, for you, for your birthday.
How do you? Where do you get an Agnes Varda? What shop is that from?
I don't know.
Oh my
I
god.
don't know. BFI, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know if she died. That's quite
she
sad
died.
that she
Yeah,
died.
she died a while ago. Well, not like probably about 6 years ago now. It's really
sorry.
sad. Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, first question was, what's it like to be back at Winchester after being from Scotland? What's it feel like to be back?
It's like I'm coinciding with coming down like in the summer, but it feels so much warmer here. Like I know it's like Scotland isn't that far away. Like it's quite far away in like terms of places in the UK, but it's not like traveling to Europe or whatever. But it is like it's like still like a hot day in Edinburgh is like 10-15 degrees, but here it's like 20 and it's like so warm and like sunny. And like Scotland is quite sun. It's like a lot sunnier than people make it out to be, but it's generally still cold and sunny most of the time. But it's like it's nice to be back. It's nice to see lots of people.
Yeah.
And, Winchester's always quite welcoming. So
yeah. It's interesting because you're like a celebrity. You get hounded by
I've been
people.
told that, and I'm starting to realize like I'm not like a celebrity, but it's like I've realized how many people I've met and like how many friends I've made here.
Yeah.
It's crazy to like be back and then, yeah.
Well, it's great. No, you can't spell MMC without Matt. So Matt Warlow, not me. So I asked this question everywhere. Is that how did we meet?
This was one of the ones I was like preparing because I'm like, because it's the one you ask every time, and it's like there's two places that I think I'd point out, or like the two kind of, because there's like the first time we like I think had a conversation was I don't think it really even was a conversation. It was like on a Zoom call for the
Yes.
the
Oh my god. Yeah,
the Winchester
yeah,
Film Festival, and it was like we're just like on this Zoom call. It's quite awkward because it was like I remember our friend Elena was like kind of got us on this like I think 2 weeks after I'd met her, she was like, "Do you want to work on this festival?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then she was like, "Yeah, you're the head of like payments and doors."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not ready for this." And then we were like on this Zoom call, and it's like, this is the head of this department. And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm not prepared." And I had to say like a few words, and I was like, that's kind of. And then I think you asked like a couple of questions, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But then I think the place we like met in person was also very awkward. I think it was like we were like on a minibus.
Yeah.
Like on the way to. Yeah, because it was on that minibus. On the way to it was like the planetarium in Winchester where they had the first night of this the Winchester Film Festival, but it was like the Monday, but on the previous Friday was when we had our FMP pitches.
Yeah.
Which was when we kind of told everyone about our film, and that's when it became known as DILFs.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone was saying on that bus was like, oh, it's the DILF guy. The DILF guy.
No, that's what Elena said, because Elena said, "This is Matt," and I went, "Oh yeah, I met Matt." And then Elena said, "Oh yeah, Matt's making a film about dad's DILFs." And I went, "Okay." And then I think you pitched it to me, and I was like, "Ah." Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and then, but the thing is, weirdly, seeing you next with Sean in the Acting Society.
Oh yeah, we kind of we rocked up to act.
Why?
that was also very weird because it was like I think it was like at Bop, and Sean I think had been a member of ACT at a previous point, and we were like approached by
Abby and
Ellie, and like in Bop, and like just like we were like sat in one of the booths, and like they were like leaning over to talk to us.
Oh, were you there?
I was there, and it was like they were asking Sean about this thing, and then he was like, yeah, we could do this. He was like, I could come back and I'll bring Matt to also do this thing, and we're like, and it was under the like guy. It was like the parameters were that we weren't going to be like acting in something. We were going to be directing like a play or like a bit of a play. And I'm a big fan of Waiting for Godot.
Yeah,
it's my favorite play of all time.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you know that I did it for GCSE?
Yes, you showed me that. It was like, and I just love that. I love that play, and I was like, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to put at least a bit of this on. And then that's what we kind of did, and we were like part of ACT for a bit, and then yeah,
because I saw you and Sean. I was like, what are you two doing here?
Yeah,
you're filmmakers.
It's one of those things. Like it's all of these sort of like, it's like doing like things where you just meet big groups of people, and then all those people like become like very sort of there's like people you already know, and there's people who are going to become sort of bigger characters, because that's also where we met V. And who ended up in acting in Based on Pair and becoming like a close friend. And it's like it's all this like crazy sort of sliding doors kind of thing, and it's like meeting all these people. It's crazy.
So speaking of meeting and stuff, I think I've never asked this question before. Weirdly, your partner in crime. Well, you got two. We could talk about both of them.
Oh yeah,
Sean and Ethan, right? How did you meet Sean?
So I met Sean. Like it's not that an interesting thing. I'm trying to remember what because I can picture the room where we first kind of met. Yeah, it was one of the Marshall Rose library study spaces, because it was like in COVID.
Oh yeah.
Because we met in genre filmmaking in first year, because we got put into a group, and we had never met each other before because we didn't have that many lectures.
You were put into a group.
We were put into groups basically, because no one knew each other, because of like all of our lecturers were like they were like half online and half in person. It's like so you don't really, and you couldn't in the in-person ones, you couldn't really like sit next to people or like meet up with people. It was like kind of so it's they put everyone into groups. So yeah, that's where we first met. We worked on this film, The Creature of Goo, which
is it out?
It exists somewhere.
It exists.
It exists somewhere. I think I've got it on a hard drive somewhere. It's on Canvas or something.
Right.
It's not. I hesitate to say it's ready to be put out into the world. I think we've had plans to remake it at some point, just because we like old spooky movies. Like,
Who stars in it? Does Sean or you star in it?
I think Sean had like the original idea. Like, I think he just had the title Creature of Goo, and I was like, I like that idea. And then
What was it about?
It was about like it was all shot because again it was COVID, so we can only shoot on campus.
Ah, right.
So we shot it in the Paul Chamberlain building.
All right.
We shot the whole film there, and it was just like about a guy who gets attacked by an unseen creature of goo. We imagined it as like the Blob. But it only really you never see the creature because we couldn't make a creature because we had no, because it was like the first year COVID production. So it was like, it kind of appeared as like shower gel. I had this like gunmetal grey shower gel.
What, you put it all over the actor or actress?
It was, yeah, just over like their hand and like kind of dripping into like the sink. And it was like this
I want to see it so badly.
Spooky
Oh God.
movie. And that was an interesting thing because like we had a problem with sound, so we had to basically re-record all of the sound. So it's just Sean doing Sean's not in the film, but he does the ADR. So you just hear Sean like trying to lip sync with the actors, and it's crazy.
It's a shame Sean was supposed to be on yesterday, but he couldn't make it because he was doing other commitments. But I know.
Where are you, Sean?
We both love Sean, but my dream is to have you and Sean on the same and see the dynamic, because you both make me laugh with the dynamic and stuff, and the 90-second Julios. It's just we'll get onto that later.
We'll get onto that later.
But your hobbies and growing up, like how growing up, where were you born? And did you? What's your credit card number? What? So where did this kind of film thing happen? Did your mum and dad put like VHS tapes and go watch this?
I think I guess kind of the way I kind of imagine it is so like the reason I became I've wanted to be a director. I think before I understood what the concept of filmmaking was. When I was like a child, I would have like, I still have this today, but I know what filmmaking is now. So it's like I would watch something, or I'd read something, or I'd like listen to some music, and then sort of conceptualize like these sort of like stories to it, but they would always manifest in like film, basically, like as movies in my mind, like how I imagined them. And like, even though I didn't know like anything about the concept of making films or like how films were made, that's kind of how they appeared in my mind. So that's kind of, I think, why I wanted to become a filmmaker, because it's like that's the best way I could find to like tell these stories.
So like when you would listen to songs and watch things as a younger age?
Just like, I don't know, just like come up with scenes, just like things in my mind. And I still have that where it's like I watch something and then just like a thing will appear in my like I come up with like an idea for a film every like couple of days. It's like and like most of them don't go anywhere, most of them I forget, and it's just like, but I just like have these kind of scenarios happening. It's like
Harrison Moneymule director, he came on and he said the interesting thing he said was that when he always listens to songs, and that's when the idea comes to it.
Yeah, I mean it's a good way to like get ideas, because you have rhythms and beats, and you can kind of like create scenes and like montages and things like that. Harrison Courtney, of course, also from Bedford, so Bedfordshire.
What, are you from the same area?
Yeah, roughly the same area, Bedfordshire. And I think we both went to school in Bedford. We didn't know each other, but
you know each other. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
We found out later.
But the question I want to ask is that what were your things growing up? Because I had Izzy on the show, Izzy Jin, and she said her thing was space. So when did this was it film? Were you obsessed with film from a very young age, and then?
I don't know if I was obsessed with film from a very young age. I used to watch like lots of films, but I wasn't like necessarily like until I was like until I was like a teenager, when I started watching like, I don't know, art house films. I remember for Christmas once I got a copy of Bon Depart, Jean-Luc Godard's Bon Depart on DVD from my dad, and that was like a real catalyst in like, and like I don't love Jean-Luc Godard as like a guy. I think he was take him or leave him, but Bon Depart is a great movie. It's such a great movie. It's the reason I named my film that based on Pear. It's a homage to Bon Depart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No. Wow.
And it's like it's like French New Wave. And like I love French New Wave and like black and white, and it's just such like a free movie, and that's kind of one of the. And the other one would probably I watched Scream when I was very young, like too young to watch Scream, and yeah, and it's just like then I kind of just like wanted to make movies. Yeah.
So do you know what was the first film you saw in the cinema? Do you ever remember that?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been told. I think I might have asked, but I don't remember if I've been told what my first movie was.
Mine was Hoodwinked.
Ah, that's an
film.
interesting choice. I think
it's a good film.
Hoodwinked is an iconic film.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily go as far to say it looks pretty rough.
Yeah, but it's all about the story.
I guess. And
the writing and the jokes are very funny. Check out Hoodwinked. It's a brilliant film.
Sponsored by Hoodwinked.
Yes,
2006?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about Matt is that I loved we spent New Year together, and that was crazy.
Yeah, that was
I loved it. That was one of the best times of my life. But we played a game.
That was genuinely not one of the worst moments of my life.
What?
That game, I felt really bad. I felt like terrible playing that game because I was just like,
yeah, because you knew every single answer.
I knew every single answer, and I was like, do I wanna? Like, I don't want to boast, but I wiped the floor with these losers.
Like, there's the rest of us going.
Yeah, I was like, do I want this? Do I want to like pretend not to know the answers for a bit, and so that people feel like they're getting the answers right, or do I just want this moment to end as quick as possible so we can stop playing because this is not fun for anybody?
It's just funny. You see my like game piece there, and you see Matt's game piece.
Yeah, I think also I rolled really well as well, which was the other thing, because it's like the movement is like dice based, but then it's like you like if you answer a question right, you get another go, and I kept like steamrolling.
That's the question about if you had a child and the child wasn't winning, would you let the child?
No, I would
lose?
Destroy them. I would destroy them.
Oh right,
because I gotta. Well, if it's like film based, I gotta destroy them. I gotta teach them that you can't be doing this. I can't let you win. You gotta know who's boss. It's me.
The question that fascinates me is that you're very obsessed with camcorders.
Yeah.
I call it the Warlow effect, and people tend to use camcorders like, oh, this is a Matt Warlow effect. And then when I opened the camcorder, it went, it made a noise, and it took me back like, oh, it's a Matt Warlow noise.
That's the thing. That's one of the things. Is like there's a concept in camcorders called beep. There's always an option called beep.
Beep.
Which is just like the noise, like turning on and off the noise. I do generally turn off the beep because it's very loud all the time. So if I'm like in public or something and I'm shooting something and I just like, it's like, but it's about this like sort of like, I love camcorders. I love like the terrible ones, and I really like the like professional ones because because I'm like documentary kind of based. I like the idea of having these cameras that are just very like, you basically pull them out and you're immediately shooting, and that's something I really like about camcorders is they're just like, I've got an AX33 which is just like a handy cam 4K, but it's just like you pull it out and you're filming, and it's like, and it's great for filming like filming films, but then also I love shooting like nights out and things like that, and editing those together, and then so everyone can kind of watch them, and it's like these memories, and that's kind of my remit. It's also the fact I'm getting into instant photography as well, so like Polaroid, I shoot Instax, but it's like similar, but like you take the photo and the photo exists physically immediately, and you just have that forever, and it's like it's not about taking the best photo, it's about taking what's happening, what's going on, so then you have that memory, and that's kind of what I like. That's why I like shooting camcorders as well, because then you have just all this footage that you just so you can like watch back and then remember things.
Yeah, it's quite and the videos that you make are really. I cried at one of them because you made a beautiful one.
That's what I want people to do. I want people to feel emotion at my work and then remember the good times.
But speaking of cameras, you've brought a camera in.
I have,
unplanned.
I always carry at least one camera on me, and today it's my Instax 300. So it's like
describe what. So where did you get this camera from?
I got it off. I'm very uncool. I got it off Amazon. But this is the first camera I realized after I bought it. It's the first camera I've ever bought new.
New?
I bought I own I think between 25 and 30 cameras. Like of just varying like formats and things, which I've all bought very, very cheaply off of eBay or CEX, or from shops, or I've been given.
Didn't you travel all the way to CEX to get a camera?
I've probably travelled to a CEX to get a camera at one point.
You have a collection of cameras.
I have a collection of cameras. In my flat in Edinburgh, I've just got like a big shelf covered in cameras. And
nice. Like, do you have a favourite? That's a quick fire question.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to do that now?
You could. If you want
to. My favourite camera. I don't know. I love the FS5, which is probably like a controversial opinion.
FS5.
I love FS5s. It's the cameras we have here, the second year cameras, and the cameras we have in Edinburgh for our documentary course, because they're just great for documentary. They're like very easy to set up, and you can shoot, and then like you can shoot for like minimal color grades and things like that. Just very simple, and like they're not necessarily the most intuitive, but like once you know the layout, it's like a wash. You can get going shooting immediately.
Wow.
And I love using them. But also I will say I do love my Instax 300, I think, but I can imagine this is like my first one of my first instant cameras, so it's like I think I'm gonna find one later that I'll like more. I know this isn't like, because this has like very minimal features. It's like just kind of to get you in the door. I think I would have to say probably my favorite camera at the moment, or that I've ever owned, is the AX33, the Sony Handycam. It's just nice, and like it's exactly sort of what I want from a camera, which is just like very easy to carry around. It has like some sort of like modular features, like you can put like a top mic on, you can put like hoods and like filters. It's like that's kind of just what I want from a camera.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. But the sad thing is that you left Winchester.
I did.
And you went to Scotland.
I did.
Why Scotland? Can't you stay here for another 5 years? Why don't you do Callum and Caleb's job? Why should you break all our hearts?
They weren't hiring when I left. So.
Oh, right. shame. But why Scotland? So what are you doing at Scotland, and why Scotland?
So I'm doing a master's in film. It's the MA film directing at Edinburgh College of Art, which is like a subsidiary of University of Edinburgh. And yeah, so it's at ECA, and the real reason, so it's film directing, but it's primarily focused on documentary filmmaking, because that's kind of like one of the things I wanted to look into doing, because I like documentary. The real reason I chose Edinburgh specifically was because I was considering what I wanted to do for the next year, and I was like, no, I'm going to look up some master's courses, and the first one that came up was Edinburgh College of Art Film Directing MA, and I was like, that looks like a good option. I'm going to look at some other options, and I did, but there was none that I was like, I want to do over this, except maybe at one point Bournemouth. I was like, maybe I should do. Right. Maybe I should go to Bournemouth, because I heard like good things about it. It's very close to Winchester, so I was like, my friends will all be about, and I was like, then I what I did was I went for like a week, I think it was like a 3-day, like I traveled to Edinburgh for 3 days, and I was just like, no, I got to go here. It's such a beautiful city. It's far away from everything. It's like it feels like kind of a new start. It's like a new traveling opportunity. And then I've kind of realized that I've stumbled into like a relatively good opportunity for like filmmaking. I think one of the things I've kind of learned since being there is like documentary filmmaking is if you want to make money, you should do like the industry, like fiction, corporate filmmaking.
Yeah.
If you want to make your own movies, you should do documentary because there's quite a lot of opportunities to make them. They're very cheap to make and they require minimal people, so you can kind of go in and make them, there's like quite a few funding opportunities, specifically in Scotland at the moment. So you can get some funding and make these movies. And I think, so I think I've kind of stumbled into a pretty good opportunity up here. So
I understand, this our documentary very well.
Yeah.
My parents were both ex-documentary
Yeah,
makers. But I understand the whole documentary world. I was thing is, I find it hard to do documentary because there's like it's like a kind of like a, you have to do and you kind of spoon-fed on documentaries. I mean, I grew up with Panorama. I was spoon-fed on Jeremy Paxman, Newsnight, like this. So, I do love documentaries. Is there any watching at the moment that you're liking, documentary or film? Is there anything you're watching at the moment that you like the look of?
What, in terms of like things I've seen recently, or like
recently?
Trying to remember anything I've seen. I keep getting asked like anytime I talk to like my dad, it's always like, is there any good movies out? And I'm like, I've immediately forgotten every movie I've ever seen in my life. Trying to think of like good. Well, I mean, I've watched. I've been watching loads of Aki Kaurismäki. If you know, he had a film out last year called Fallen Leaves.
Fallen Leaves.
It was like a Mubi release. If you have Mubi.
Oh, Mubi's Mubi's good.
You should get Mubi. If you're at home, you should get Mubi. Not sponsored. You should get sponsored by Mubi. They do sponsorships.
That's true. Yeah,
they give you some money. And like a promo code. So I've been watching loads of Aki Kaurismäki films because they're like all on Mubi and they're like 60 to 90 minutes long. So they're just like these really like nice little, very like positive and very sort of. I'm trying to think of the term that someone used to describe them. It's like it's like a positive cynic. Like it's this very like cynical sort of, it's like someone who has like these misgivings with the world, but is very positive and believes that we can come out and like there's always like a sort of very earned happy ending at the end of each of these films, and they're just like these beautiful little movies. And I have no idea. It's like the only director I've seen who can like accomplish this look of like making a film that came out this year but genuinely looks like it could have come out in like the 70s or 80s. Like this film look, it's crazy because I like people try and like replicate these looks but they never quite get there. But I think Aki Kaurismäki has this like ability to sort of get that look.
Cool.
And then I perpetually watch Agnes Varda films. Agnes Varda's my favorite filmmaker. We've mentioned Agnes Varda before in this.
Where did this Agnes Varda start then?
I don't remember. I watched one of. I think I watched a couple of her films on like BFI or something when I was younger. I think before coming to university, and then and then in first year I got I think it's part of genre filmmaking, like the sort of bit you had to like write a case study on a director, and it was like. I think the way they decided it was like, hey, do you have like a specific country you want to like a director to talk about? And I was like, yeah, I'll do France. And then I got Agnes Varda for this film, for this assignment, like to write like this case study on. And as part of that, I was like, because like her films weren't like necessarily the most available at that time. They're still kind of they come and go. They're on Mubi sometimes and they're on BFI, but. It's like the best way I could find like a good chunk of her movies was there was like the Curzon Artificial Eye collection, which had like 8 movies, and it was like £50, and I was like, this is gonna be a risky buy because it's like this is a lot of money for like, especially for like a student, like just to drop on like one thing. And then I bought it, and it's probably still like the best like one of the purchases I've made, and I've been like, yeah, this was worth it because it's like I got into her movies. It's just this nice little box of movies, and then they kind of got me into like collecting Blu-rays and things.
So glad you said Blu-rays. Let's move on to that, Matt, because anyone who knows Matt, they have a great collection of DVDs.
Yes,
and I've never seen you quite angry before. because we were talking about Blu-rays,
Oh,
and I don't know if I don't want to make you angry or anything, but I brought two little. It's like an eye test. What makes you angry? What makes
yeah.
you. So this is a classic. What I grew up with, Blu-ray case, right? Okay, and then this is a new Blu-ray, very thin, weird one.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, I want to show. How does this make you feel?
So
How does that make you feel?
I don't.
Hold them.
Does
Does it make you angry?
a bit. I don't. Okay. I don't like the thin Blu-ray. I think it's mostly. It's for a few reasons, and it's like I don't think they'd make me as upset as they, because it's like you want like a uniform collection, because like you want like the width to be right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can, like,
yeah.
Because I'm like very sort of particular with how I display things. So I'm
Yeah.
like, if I'm gonna buy a Blu-ray, I need to make sure I've got enough space for it. So if I like can't, if they're all different widths, I can't really work out like if I'm gonna buy a new one, what it's gonna be like. And like the thin Blu-rays, it's fine. It's okay. I'm generally fine with it, especially if it comes with like a slip case. Because then you don't notice it as much.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about the thin Blu-rays is it's kind of just like a thing with most it's like an industry problem. It's like not an industry problem, but like just a physical movie release problem. Where it's like the people who are using thin Blu-rays. The reason they're using them is because they have
less plastic.
They have less plastic. They're cheaper. But it's just the people who are using them are the people who have less regard for physical media. Like the reason people want physical media, they're like, oh, we've just got to put it out. It's like because Disney uses it a lot, and it's so like for which is annoying, especially since they've been buying up loads of other things, and so it's all coming through Disney releasing these movies. So basically, yeah. So you get the thin Blu-ray, which is like not great, but then it's also you get no like special features or like none of this like all the bonus stuff that you want from your physical releases. You get no like art cards or like other bits and pieces. So it's like, which is really annoying because especially the film that came out a couple of years ago, The French Dispatch, one of my favorite films of recent years. It's technically a Disney release because it's 20th Century Studios. Searchlight Pictures releasing. So it's like comes out in this like thin Blu-ray, no special features, no art cards, and the Blu-ray is like fine. It looks fine.
No special features.
No special features, and it's like that's like that film is so intricate and so crazy in its like sort of production. It's like I want to see behind the scenes, and there just isn't that.
Yeah. The thing that I talked with Ollie that I got really annoyed about is Blu-ray bonus features.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you feel the same way. Is that they have them, but they're just crap.
Sometimes, yeah, they're just like you cause I guess it's like spoiled from buying like Criterion and Arrow and all of these like boutique labels where they have like 8 or 10 hours of bonus features.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's like you want something good, like even in like just a regular release, because you're like buying it's like £15 now for like a new Blu-ray. So
but they just go on about the story.
It's
again and again. Wonka's terrible. I love Wonka, and that Blu-ray was crap.
It's just mostly like reused marketing stuff.
Yes.
It's like this isn't what I want. This is not what I'm paying for. So it's like, what's the point?
No,
it's like. Then the worst thing is I want Criterion to release like they've done like nearly all of the Wes Anderson films, but they've stopped now because since Disney has bought Searchlight, who released Isle of Dogs and The French Dispatch, and they have like different things about licensing to boutique labels. So it's like I want those 2 movies and then Asteroid City to be released to complete that kind of Criterion collection of Wes Anderson films. I don't know if that's going to happen now. That's really annoying because I want the thing with all the nice bits. And pieces.
Yeah. You like my brother. He's obsessed with nice Blu-rays, and
I like things that I can hold in my hands and I know that I own them.
That's a good question. Is what do you feel about DVDs and Blu-rays dying, and now it's more digital, and you can buy them on YouTube? How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's like provably, it's more of it's like a problem more prevalent in video games at the moment, especially like with Ubisoft and people like that, where we're starting to realize that we in fact don't own any of this digital stuff. Like none of you, if you can't hold it in your hands, you don't really own it. Because it's like people are getting their games basically deleted off of like Steam or whatever, and then they can't play that game anymore because even though they paid for it and they under the kind of this idea that they own it forever. And then there's that Amazon Prime or Amazon like video where you buy it, and it's in the clause it says you don't own this. It's like if we decide that we're getting rid of it off of our service, then you won't be able to own that anymore. And it's like, this sucks because it's like, that's why I like physical media, even if it's like buying like standard definition DVDs, at least you own the thing.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee that you'll own that forever if it's on like a cloud or like
like Club Penguin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Club Penguin.
I paid.
Yeah, how much did you put into Club
Yeah,
Penguin?
a
Now
lot
that's all
of bloody
gone.
money. Yeah, a lot of bloody money, and it's all
That's
gone
why you shouldn't
now.
invest in cryptocurrency. It's all gonna go. It's all gonna go at some point.
I just want to quickly go on to like filmmaking and stuff. So, why Winchester, and what was it like? What was it like, kind of starting? You know, you probably had this dream of, I like to make a film. What was it like going into like really actually making it, and then coming to Winchester and really kind of like logistically working with it, and what was it like directing stuff as well? What was that all like?
So, the reason I came to Winchester specifically, again, it's similar to like the story I have for Edinburgh. Where it's like, it's kind of it wasn't the first option, but it was an option I saw and I applied to it. And I came for an open day and I looked around. It's a really nice campus and like nice houses or nice housing and things like that. I was like, this is a nice city and it's like relatively close by to where I live. Like it's not too far. And then it was like I wasn't doing too well in like my A levels and things like that. I was struggling with a lot of things. And then. So like the other places I applied to, I think UCA and places like that, like they were like asking for like B's and sort of A's and B's, and I was getting like C's and D's, and to the point where my second choice, which was, who was it? Chichester, was
Boo,
like
rivals.
boo. Yeah. They lost in the American football recently.
Yeah, that's what Ed and Dan.
That was my second choice, and that was like 3 C's, and I was like, I'm not gonna get this.
Jeez.
I'm not gonna get that offer. And then Winchester came in with an offer of like, I think it was like B's and C's, but then they were like, if you put us as your first option, it'll be unconditional. And I was like, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that. And then, like, if I get the right grades, I can always go to Chichester. If I like Chichester more, and then I was like, I like Winchester. I'm gonna go to Winchester. And then I came here, and it's like the best time. Like, I don't regret it at all. But it's like it does really feel like it was like perfect because it was like this is the place that they called to me. It's
yeah. It's very welcoming, isn't it?
Yeah, very welcoming. And I was like, this is the place. This is where I was meant to go. And like, I don't really believe in like destiny or things like that, but it's like, I also don't believe in like looking back and going, what if like I'd done this thing? Because it's like, it's all happened now. There's no point of like, it's about learning from your mistakes, not like trying to go back and change them.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's, and I'm here now, and none of that other stuff matters. So it's like, and I did a good job here, and I came out with a first in the end.
Did
so
you?
Yeah.
Really?
Just about.
No, really?
I left with 69.
Right.
Which is one off of a first. And then when I was in Edinburgh, I got a message saying your thing's been revoked. And I was like, what is that? Is this a bad thing? And then like the next day it was like, it's been updated and you have 1 extra point. So now you've got a 70. So I was just on that line.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is crazy. And it's
Shit.
Like,
yeah. But what do you enjoy about making films? Like what's it like to direct and lead a film? And is there a lot of, what do you enjoy out of making films, and what's your like your
I feel nothing when I make a film. I'm just there for the paycheck. No, it's like there's something. I mean, I just love films. Like that's all. It's like all I want to do. It's like I love films, and that's like my idea of that's my art. That's the art that I see myself in the most. It's the art I understand the most. So it's like this kind of like fluid thing where I'm just like putting. Like, I feel like I go into like a world when I'm making a film, and it's like that's what I'm here to make. And it's just like working with people, working with really like my great skill in life really isn't directing. It's just befriending very, very talented people. Like I've just met so many talented people like yourself, and like all of these cinematographers and editors and sound people, and it's like just like meeting all these people to make these wonderful films, and like and for some reason I've been chosen to be the person who directs those films, which I think is probably my best production skill. Is I can
really
I think so.
Not editing.
I like editing. I don't want to do editing as like a job. As like a job. I'm being confronted with the fact that I might have to do that, but because I am okay at editing. It's like I'm not the best, but I'm like it's probably one of the skills.
Very good.
It's one of the like the more production-y skills that I'm best at. But I really enjoy editing, so I don't want to like corporatize that. Because it's like a thing to do as like an unwinding thing, like putting everything together on Premiere and just like running through all these things. It's just like that kind of like peaceful sort of thing. So then like adding deadlines to that it's like stressful. And that's like, and then but like directing I think is my sort of big. It's like the thing I kind of feel like that's when I feel like I'm in my element. It's like working with actors and working with crew and like I don't consider myself a particularly organized person, but like when I'm there, I feel like I can kind of get into that headspace.
I love your films. They're very I like hard hitting films. I think you do a good job because documentary kind of does that.
I think that's like that's the way I described a couple of my films. Was like I didn't want to make a film that I don't want to make informational films. I want to make films that make people feel emotions.
Yeah.
Like it's not about telling you like the details of an experience. It's about making you feel those kind of like the emotions of that experience rather than
The exciting thing, I'm looking at my questions. The exciting thing about you being here today is that you're making Chat and That History, which I'm very excited. You're the first non-binary person on the show.
Yes.
So there's 102 episodes. You're the first one.
Wait, how many episodes?
Well, it's like I think you're 14.
Okay.
I'm saying I haven't filmed 100.
Okay.
But if there is 100, hopefully, there's 200 pages in that book. So, people who I want to educate people on the show. If people might not know what non-binary is, how would you describe it to people?
So I think it's like people have like I think a lot of people have a conception of what non-binary means, and I think like when people look at me, they probably don't think non-binary because it's like I am very masculine presenting in my like dress. I have a beard most of the time. I have relatively short hair, and I'm like tall. But it's like this idea of not necessarily like I don't feel like I am like it's difficult to say because I'm like I don't want to. I feel like not like a poor representation of like. I think it's important. Like all kind of representation is important.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm a bad spokesperson.
Why?
Because I'm.
You're a good spokesperson for it.
I truly believe. Okay, so
you're like I see you as like the glue that whoever you are.
I feel like there's. Well, I certainly feel like there's people who are more sort of educated to talk about things like this. But it's fine. Like I'm going to talk about my experiences, and like, but when people ask like, how does it feel to be non-binary? My like with the content or like with the understanding that the dehumanization of trans people is a very real thing. It's like people are like genuinely like this horrible thing that's happening, like kind of otherizing people, and this real like threat to real people. People are like, and it's awful. And but with the understanding of that, it's like when people ask me how does it feel to be non-binary, my only real answer is I don't feel like I often don't feel like a person. I feel like this sort of like outsiderness sometimes, and that's kind of like, I don't feel like I can fit in the mold of like male, or I can't fit in the mold of female. I don't think that those kind of things necessarily like can go and like describe who I am. So yeah, I feel like this, and I think like the common conception of non-binary is like you are but somewhere between male and female.
Yeah.
When in fact it's like a third thing. It's like a third thing, and it can kind of exist anywhere within this spectrum of how you present. And like it's not really like a defined term. It's more of like it is just like this third thing where it's like it can mean like there's so many like subcategories, and like you can take those labels or you cannot. And like personally for me, I choose to sort of keep away from like as many labels as possible, because I don't think anything really represents how I feel, like, because I don't think I need those labels. Like they're not necessarily kind of representative of my experience of being non-binary. It's just like this one term kind of works. So that's kind of how it is. It's like I'm this other this third fun option, and it's like I don't fit into that kind of category. Yeah, it's literally just like it's not even a really like new change. Like people have been like trans and non-binary for years and years, and it's like it's just now kind of coming into like this big sort of like it's getting this limelight on it, for better or worse. Like a lot of that is very negative, and like because it's like anti-trans and anti-non-binary law like coming in, and it's all
Law.
Yeah, like people like making it difficult for like trans people to access like healthcare, like
Really? Where?
the UK, like
What?
like transitioning is becoming increasingly difficult for a lot of people, and then like loads of things. I'm not the person to talk about
Yeah.
because
No, I
not the
don't
person
know.
who can
I
articulate
didn't know
it,
that. Bloody hell.
but yeah, it's terrible, and it's like it's kind of, and it's very scary for someone who has I'm fortunate, I guess, in that I'm not like someone looking to like medically transition in any way. But like I've got lots of trans non-binary friends who are, and it's like it's very scary for them, because they're like they're not going to have access. They're losing access to all this stuff, and it's becoming increasingly difficult and increasingly expensive for them to be their like true selves.
Yeah.
They them
Change.
pronouns aren't that difficult.
Yeah. But next on my list, I don't think we could be here for 16 hours, but I'm going to really restrain myself.
Okay.
Because I'd say one of the best student comedy films of all time, and one of my favourite student film comedies of all time, or probably one of my favourite films of all time, is a film that you made, and that is the legendary film based on Pear, which I love. What do you mean boo?
Boo.
What do you mean boo?
Boo.
Based on Pear.
No.
Based on Pear. Let's put it in that case. Based on Pear.
Based on Pear. See it in your
Love
local
that film.
cinemas.
Love that film. How do you want to hold the poster?
I'll hold the poster.
I've got it signed, so it's worth more. How do you feel? How do you feel?
I feel
I'm
honoured.
giving you an award.
Yeah.
So I tried to cut these questions down because I just want to talk about Based on Pear all the time, but I can't. Where did it start? Where did the idea come from? Okay, to kind of shorten them. Where did the idea come? It's so hard. I want to talk about it all the time. Where did the idea come from? What was the best part about making it, and the most challenging part of making it? And is there like a message behind it? And what was the idea? What was the process?
So the original idea for it came from, I still am writing it's not like something I'm necessarily going to make, but it's like one of those things, like just a fun writing project. Was writing it was like this sitcom, like a sort of like sort of anti. Well, I almost like it was kind of an anti sitcom. This sort of like weird like serialized show that I was kind of trying to work on, like maybe to make 10, 20 years in the future, I guess. But it's like about a bunch of university students, because like and one of the episodes would have been, and like the loose premise would be like each episode would have some sort of like it would take a lot of inspiration from films, and like so like a lot of the episodes would be like themed around certain like genres of films. One of which would be a French New Wave episode.
All right.
I like the idea of doing that and like having it like 4:3 or like maybe black and white or something like that. And then and I kind of came up with this plot line of like it would be with like established characters of like what would happen if if your best friend had sex with your dad. And it's like because I think that kind of also that specific idea came from like this concept or this like joke of when you're in the like you're a small child in the playground and you're like trying to insult someone and you're like, I had sex with your mum, and the only one up from that is I had sex with your dad, because I think that's kind of crazier, and it's like because it's like just a sort of like
so you made it into a film.
I made it into a film.
Were there ideas that you had
so
to choose for
basically
FMP?
like when we're coming up with FMP, like I was like, I have this idea in the back pocket to like pitch it to my friend, to the people I was working with at the time. It was Alice and our producer Chloe. So yeah, we were like putting those like kind of these ideas together. The other one we had was like an apocalypse film, which I still really like, and I was like, I'm.
Was that Love Is Dead?
No. This was because this was before Ethan joined our group.
Right.
It was actually it was like a. I mean, I'm glad we went with Based on Bags. It was a lot easier production because it would like require less sort of like difficult things to acquire because apocalypse film is difficult.
Yeah.
But it was an idea Alice, and also I'd have had to actually write from scratch that story because it was like just an idea that Alice had in one of her screenwriting classes. Just this idea of like two people in the apocalypse, and they're the last two people left alive after like something happened.
Yeah.
And but the problem is, and it's like it's them discussing whether or not they want to, because it's like it's a man and a woman, and they're like, do we want to repopulate the world? But the problem is the woman is lesbian and the guy is gay, so they don't like.
Wow, interesting.
And then yeah, it's just this kind of sort of semi-comedy thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it would
Do you
have
think
been
you
like
ever
a really
make that one again?
I really want to make that film. I like as a feature probably.
As a feature?
Yeah, I'm gonna fully steal from Alice this concept of a film. Although my one big problem with that is I want to film it in America. But it's like,
wow,
because
okay.
I have like a very weird specific plan for what the movie would be.
Whereabouts in America would you film it?
So it would have to be in like New England, like
what,
that
Boston?
area, like Boston. Yeah,
I have friends in Boston.
yeah, like Boston, because I can't remember where exactly is it, but it's in New England. I can't remember if it's specifically in
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts, but the Plymouth Rock.
Yes.
I want.
Why did you say that?
Because I want to film it. Because I want the film to be called Plymouth Rock.
Why did you say that?
Because okay,
you know that I have. You know that, right?
wait, what's your story?
You know that I have my mum and dad made in the 90s came over to America, Plymouth Rock, to do a documentary on the Pilgrims and Plymouth Rock.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Did I not tell you about this?
I don't think you told me.
My
about
mum.
this.
Right. So this is why I wear the Boston hat. Oh my god, I thought I told you this.
I don't know. No.
My mum's best friend,
Yeah,
like her grandma
yeah.
to me, lives 5 seconds away in the area of Plymouth Rock.
That's
Look,
crazy.
That's her grandson, who's like a little brother to me, Q, and that's crazy. Yeah, I have her on my phone. So there you go. I have Matt. I have Matt on my phone as well. I'm just going through the wallpapers.
This might be like, I don't know if like I
There
might.
you go. That's my mum's friend Troy, who lives in Plymouth, and you look out and you can see Plymouth Rock from her house.
This might be insulting then, because the idea I had was that like there needs to be, because that's like a good concept for a film. I think it's a good like plot, like overarching plot, but there needs to be like a goal for the two characters to do. So I was like, this idea of maybe a really fun, like it's like a road trip, or like a walking road trip throughout like New England, America, and with the idea that it's this one of the characters, their goal is to go and see Plymouth Rock,
Right.
because I don't know if if I had a specific reason why they wanted to go and see that specifically, like the characters wanted to see that, but the reason I chose that was because I think it's I couldn't think of an equivalent in the UK of a kind of lame like landmark. Like
well,
it's kind of because it's just because like the characters would get there after this big journey and this big like soul searching conversation that they're having, and it's a rock.
Well, we can think
in a
about we can make that happen.
Can we make that
We
happen?
can make that happen.
I need to write that film.
No, because my well, we could do that. We could do it in the future. We can make that happen.
Yeah, I want to make that film. I love that idea.
Plymouth. Oh my god, that is just so weird.
And the film would be called Plymouth Rock. Because I think that's a nice title.
That is so weird. I've been there many times. Oh god, we need to talk about this. Anyway, moving on to base. We want to keep on based on Pear.
Can I just mention Spud?
Yeah.
Hey Spud, if you're watching.
Love Spud. Poop in the water.
Spud, I've met Spud a couple of times. I don't think I've had like a few conversations with Spud. He's a really nice guy. The one thing about Spud is Spud is I saw him once in Cyber.
Yeah.
And I was like, that person looks more like me than me. Because Spud is just like the way I put it is Spud is like the American version of me, because like in America everything is like bigger. He's just like this really tall guy who looks like more like me than I do. Especially when I had like the beard.
Yeah.
It's like
American version of you.
American version of me.
We can make that possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it the Plymouth Rock film. There you go. Just quickly, I just want to kind of move on because we are but we're favorite. What was the favorite part of making Based on Pear, and what was the most difficult film of making Based on Pear?
So my favorite thing about making Based on Pear was just like it was like the biggest kind of collaboration I'd ever done, and everyone there, aside from the actors, but the actors then, well, some of the actors were people I knew previously, but some of them were like new, but we all got on really well. But it was just like this big production where everyone was my friend. Like it was just like all of these people coming together to make this film, and it's like I just got to make have this really fun time with all my friends doing what we love, which is making movies. And we just made a movie, and that's so fun. And just just this really collaborative thing, and then like seeing the credits roll at the end, and it's just like, oh, these are the people I love, and it's like
I love it so much. I can recite it. Weirdly.
I think you know this film better than I do. You certainly watched it more than I.
Yes. No, I first saw a rough cut and in the OMC Matt showed me, and I was on the floor crying with laughter, so loud that I scared a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And my brother loves it as well, and I love it. And
so I'm just gonna cough again.
I saw, but the thing is, I saw it and I was like, I want to be on that Dill film. I want to be there. So I tried to pester you to be on it.
Yeah.
But what was the most tricky thing to film? Was the editing, or was it something else?
I mean, filming wise, there wasn't anything too difficult, apart from the last. Was it last thing we shot? One of the last things we shot was there's like a night scene, and we didn't bring the right lights that we wanted.
Oh, was that I would say the lamppost.
The lamppost scene. It was originally supposed to be on a bridge, but there was no lighting on the bridge, like no ambient lighting on the bridge, or not enough ambient lighting on the bridge. And the lights we brought, we didn't like. They were like, we wanted like some warm lights, but the lights we had were like apertures, and they were very cold. And the warm lights that we did have needed to be plugged in at a power source, and we were just in by a river in a park, basically.
Did the batteries die?
It was just like they're dados, so they don't have like battery power. They just they only have mains, and so that was like quite difficult because it was just about adapting basically. But then we kind of found this lamppost. It worked really well, and like probably looks better than what we kind of expected.
Is there going to be a Based on Pear 2?
Maybe at some point, Based on Pear.
Maybe.
I mean, like I'm not going to rule anything out. Like I can't imagine. Like technically, maybe, because if I ever do make that TV show, Based on Pear would be essentially remade as an episode. As an episode, and then there is like a sequel episode. There's like an episode where that story kind of continues a little bit. Because it's like characters, like the things happen, and those the things that happen in one episode carry on to the next episode because it's a serialized thing. So it's
a fun fact: you asked me to audition.
I asked you to be in the film.
Well, I'm actually quite glad that you didn't, because the guy who played my role that you replaced, I'm actually very happy because he did a better job.
That was the most difficult thing about making the film. It wasn't actually like a filming thing. It was just the logistics of hiring actors.
Yeah.
Because we had a real problem because we named the characters Sam and Max.
Yeah. And then
then we twice. So we had like a character locked in for Sam, a character, the character Sam, we had an actor called Max playing them,
Yeah.
and then we got an actor playing Max who was named Sam. So it's just this really complicated mess. And then when we were like, do we have this person? Do we not? We were like, there was this miscommunication where we're like, we lost one of them. We'd lost the actor playing Sam. We thought we'd lost the actor playing Sam, but in fact we'd lost the other actor, and who hadn't been confirmed yet. So we were like, oh no, we need to quickly hire someone, and we're like, Matt Kirby, because we know you did acting, and I'd seen some of your acting, really liked it, and like, I wish I put you in other things after that as well.
Yeah.
Like the
delivery
and
we'll get on to those films. Yeah. So just quickly, what were the like? Just name a few ingredients, because I want to get onto some more questions, because I feel bad you being here for ages. What were the main ingredients? Because I love the visual shots of the film. Yeah. Because this is where I don't know.
I do too, because I can appreciate those because I didn't work on them too much. So it's like, that's the bit I can like look at and go, that's objectively really good.
But I loved it how you shot it like that. And what was the idea? But what were the just name a few ingredients that were inspirations. Was there a film that you liked that made it that shot, or was there a comedy that you liked?
I think it was all sort of playing with the conventions. So it's like a lot of it was like this homage to French New Wave. Like that's where the title based on Père comes from. It's a reference to Bondapart, because it's like similar like name structure, like the B A P sort of BTP. That's where I find a lot of my inspiration is like this, especially like because I think it's just a good thing to bring to like look at and go, this is how they made French New Wave films, because French New Wave films, kind of the point of them is they're like micro budget, really small films, and like really scrappy sort of films that like shot like in the streets of Paris, and like they're all these like really like fluid films, and they work really well, especially like they're quite funny a lot of the time, or they're quite dramatic. So that's kind of where we took this inspiration from, and like the 4x3 was like a sort of reference to that, because it's like it's an art film.
Yeah, I love it. I especially love the camcorder beginning to it. I love that bit.
That was sort of also because we had this idea that we wanted to shoot that on 8mm, like Super 8 film.
Well, are you gonna do that?
We were like thinking about it, and I was like, I don't like. I love the idea, but it's like I don't think we can do that. I think that's gonna be too difficult. So we shot on camcorders, which is great because I love camcorders. We shot on the SX.
Yeah. No, I like
the Sony DCR SX21. Trying to remember the specific names.
But the thing about your film is that it's all about the writing. That's what Alfred Hitchcock said. The script. It's all about the writing, and I think it's amazing. Again, I can't talk about it for hours.
I wrote it during my. I adapted the script during my like lunch hours when I was working in a call center.
You're working in a call center?
I was working in a call center. It's the worst job I've ever had. It's the job I've been the best paying job I've ever had. But like for like a few like a month or so, I was working at a call center in Southampton.
Was that is that before Winchester?
It was between second and third year.
Wow.
Like as a summer job.
Is that the only job that you've done?
But I've had other jobs.
What other jobs have you done?
I've worked in a news agents.
Wow.
And I've done other things.
Do you have a job in Scotland?
I don't.
You HMV, do what Ethan does, HMV.
Maybe. I don't have I don't have time. I like master's courses like I'm in like every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I've got a few more questions, quick fire questions. So I want to move on to your films that you've made at Winchester.
Yes.
You don't have to talk about this, but I love the films that you've been in.
Yes.
I love. We did Divination, which was great.
Oh yeah.
We're going to mention these. Tom is Dead.
Yeah.
Great performance.
I was in that. I don't think I've watched that film all the way through.
Really? I love that film. And mutual friends, Alex and Tom. Yeah. Great guys.
Yep.
Yeah, you saw Alex. You went to see Alex in a show, didn't you? You both have the same band. Is that right? Because I bumped into you.
Oh, yes, of course. I saw him play at the Railway
Inn.
The Railway Inn? Yeah.
Yeah.
I went and saw him because I had a conversation with him after seeing him play one of the open mics at the Terrace Bar.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, that song, I really love your music. It really reminds me of this band, Neutral Milk Hotel.
Yeah.
It's sort of like,
And that was a band that you both...
cool indie band, internet brain poisoning band. I love that band. And he was like, yeah, he was a big fan of that band. And he was like, yeah, I'm going to go. And then like a few weeks later, I got a message saying, hey, I'm going to be at the Railway Inn. I'm going to play a song by them. Because I'm going to do like a cover. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I'll come by. And I filmed that for him. And like, it was a good time.
Yeah, and the other film is Driving Influence, where you get killed in the car.
I think I've seen that one all the way through.
Yeah,
I don't like watching myself.
Really? You're good.
I
You're
don't
a
know
good
what I'm gonna
actor.
do with. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I think
You're a great actor.
I might watch this back. Yeah, but it's like I don't like being on camera.
But
I like acting. I just don't like watching myself act.
That's true. Actually, same actually. But let's move on. But there's a film. I did my research, and there's a film that I enjoyed, which was the Old Man film. That's quite an interesting film.
Old Man in the Void. That was what I made for my directing in third year.
Oh, actually, before we move on, there was another film that I've been in with you, which was Thousand Centurions.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah.
That was also third year. That was my creative post-production or advanced post-production.
John Ford ripoff, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like based on a John Ford interview that I really love, where he's just like he just doesn't care. He's like just in the desert. And he's like, what is this? And he's like just like one word answers. And I just like this. And I had this. This is another idea I have for a film that I want to make at some point, where it's like and I basically took a character from that film and put him in this like short interview, like introduction to the character.
But so the Old Man film. Sorry, going back to I want to mention as many films that you've done as well. The Old Man film. What's that idea about?
So that film was just like this sort of very like almost like it was like kind of just this explanation of like a philosophy I believe in. Like I'm not like a religious. I'm not like particularly spiritual person.
Right.
But I have like a few like ideas of like how I believe my brain works to like conceptualize the idea of living and like existence and like meaning, and like the idea of this idea of like positive nihilism almost. Like I don't love the term nihilism because it's like it's obviously meaning like nothing has any meaning, but like the idea that I kind of come back to is that if nothing has any inherent meaning, then it's like a freeing thing because you can choose what matters to you. And that's kind of what I sort of believe in, is like this like you can sort of push aside like things that like you don't need to think about too much, and it's like you need to kind of focus on the things that you can change and things that the things that like actually matter to you. I think that's more important than like sort of worrying about things you can't change and worrying about the future. And that's kind of what this film was about, is like kind of approaching like feeling like I was like 21 when I made it like last year. It feels like a millennia ago.
In third year or second year?
I made it like first semester third year.
All right.
So like 2022.
Yeah.
So coming up for a couple of years.
Where was
ago.
the beach? There's a bit.
It was in Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. Okay.
It's the same. Was it the same beach? I think it's the same beach we shot, or close to where we shot the beach scenes for Based on Pair.
Ah, really?
I think it's probably the same beach, just a bit further up.
Nice. Moving on.
Yes.
The film, I want to congratulate you actually, is that recently you won Live Perspective Film Festival.
Yes,
Congratulations,
I won,
well deserved.
Yeah, thank you.
But the film that won was a film that I really, really liked, that you've made at the moment, which I really found really kind of hitting and really good and really like, hard hitting, was a film called The Fine. I've written that wrong. Sorry, I typed these questions quite quickly. Fine, probably okay. Sorry.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine, probably.
I put fine, probably film. I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'd really. So, what was the idea? If you want to talk about it, what's the idea behind that?
So that was another film I made for. That was a film I made for a course for like one of our elective courses in Edinburgh. It's like one of the most interesting film courses I've done, or like for like modules I've done. in film, which is film medicine. The idea of like, which like it was like a scare. Like I wasn't quite sure if I was going to do it because it was like a scary idea of like, what does that mean? Like, what does film medicine mean? Because it was like it seemed to imply, like you're gonna be shooting in hospitals and like learning how to do that and like I don't know, shoot documentaries like about health conditions and things like that. But then the way it was explained was it's more about like intent. It's more about therapeutic. This idea of therapeutic intent. Like, why are you making a film? Like, with a focus on like health and like but like not just physical like health conditions, also like mental health conditions, which that's what I ended up making my film about. And this idea of like therapeutic intent, and this really like interesting idea of like, so you're making a film to help other people, but then a perfectly valid reason to make a film is as like therapy for your almost not quite therapy, but like to work through things yourself. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with this film. Was like I was basically going through like, I mean, still to an extent I am going through like the having some like mental health diagnoses happening. But this was like, and like like looking for support for these like like I was like going I've been like anxiety and depression for a while. I've been like the ones I've known about, and then recently I've been diagnosed with ADHD, which is like one of those things. It's like it's the way I always describe it. Again, I'm going off on like a weird tangent, but like when I first got glasses, I got glasses a few years ago, and I was like, I don't need glasses. I just can't, like, I'm just doing this for attention for myself because I want to wear glasses for some reason. And I was like, sort of like tricking myself into believing that like I don't need glasses.
Yeah.
Because just like that's what normal people see. Like at some point things just go blurry. And then I was like, and I got glasses, and I was like, of course I need glasses. That's a stupid thing to believe. And I was like, of course I don't have ADHD. And then I was like, I got like diagnosed with it, and I was like, and then any time I had like a conversation with someone, and it was like, I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I've been diagnosed with ADHD, and they're like, yes, of course you have. Like obviously, like because like the one I point out was like you have that like Apple Music or Apple Music or Spotify Wrapped thing, and it's like you've listened to this much LCD sound system this year, and I'm like, yes, of course I've got ADHD. I've listened to like 65,000 minutes of whatever this band was, and I was like, yeah, that checks out. And it's like, and that's kind of what I wanted to do, was like showing this like this really difficult process that I was kind of going through of like constantly like repeating like emailing people.
Yeah, there were real emails, weren't there?
Yeah, real emails, and like the idea of like meant like I was going through this sort of private healthcare system that I had through like a family member where I got it for free, and they were like, these are like the specific things that we cover, and these are the things we don't. So they cover like anxiety and depression. They don't cover support for ADHD. What they sort of specify as they use some very like language I don't like, where it's like these like mental disorders and things like that, and it's like just like and the line they had it was like, sorry, we can't help you, and it's like, this sucks. And it was like, and I remember I was in one of my lectures, or like there was like an hour between the two lectures, and I was like, I got this email back from them, from like the people I was trying to go through, and I got it during this, and I read it, and they were like, yeah, we can't help you. And then I was like, this is really annoying. And in my mind, I immediately like conceptualized this sort of, I wrote it in like a notebook, just like this sort of like basically mapping out all of the steps I've been through to get to this point.
With the chalkboard.
They can't help you, and like all these lines, and you set up an appointment, you do this, and it's like this like weeks long process just to get like, we can't help you, and then you go back to the beginning.
Yeah, it's amazing. How long did it make you edit that?
So
it's beautifully edited. It gets faster and faster and faster. I bet you were like,
the thing that took the longest to edit was these photos I had in the background, where it's just these really still like close up, really high ISO, like grainy photos, black and white photos of just very close up things in my room. And it was just like, in the edit, just like put the photo in, bring it down, because I'm like a very brute force editor. I don't like learn all of the keyboard shortcuts. I just kind of do everything by hand, and like I can get an edit out really quickly, but I'm just like doing this thing with I use the mouse for everything.
Wow.
And I was just doing this thing, and that was the thing that took the longest, because also when I was running it, because there's these quite like high definition photos, playing quite quickly, it was like really chugging the system, like it was like really slow. So I basically had to like, do like these like every so often I had to export it to see if it was coming out playing properly, because I couldn't watch it in like Premiere. But that was the bit that took.
It's a very powerful film, and you got to check it out on Hard Press Media.
YouTube.com / something.
What are you working on anything at the moment? Because you were with Sean recently, and I said,
yes,
Sean,
I am working on a film. This is my master's film. And it's called Stranger in a Strange World. It's a film I don't know if I like talking about this film, because it's very difficult for me to talk about this film without the film existing, because people look at me like I'm crazy, which I am. But
no,
it's a film about benches. And like,
was that with Sean?
That was with Sean.
I thought you released that already.
No, I released the trailer for it.
Oh, the trailer. Oh, right. Okay.
But it's gonna be like a 20-minute film, or like a 15-minute film.
All about different benches.
All about different benches. Well, it's about a lot of things. It's about so much, and it's like, but like the thing I'm focusing on is benches, and like this like idea of like, it's also quite sort of existential. This idea of like finding a place in the world that you don't understand, and doesn't understand you, and it's like this idea of like trying to understand benches, and it's like benches are these really easy, like what's a bench? No one thinks about benches.
Yes.
Like benches are just like, they're seats. They're just seats that you find in the park, and it's like there's nothing else. But then you think about like hostile architecture, like benches being used to weaponized against like unhoused people, because like to stop people sleeping on them, to basically force people to like move out of cities and things.
What do you mean like weaponized? You mean like they're designed so people can't sleep on them? Yeah,
designed so people can't lie on them or sleep on them, or like they can't like sit on them for too long.
That's
like,
terrible.
It's
for homeless
awful.
people.
Yeah, because it's like people don't want to solve the problem of homelessness. They just want to make it appear like it doesn't exist by basically getting rid of people. It's and it's like this thing that like it's a chair. It's a chair that you find in the street, and it's like there's so many deep layers to this one thing, and I'm like, if I can't understand this really boring, mundane thing, how am I supposed to like understand everything else, like all of the really complicated things, or like the actually complicated things?
Wow, that's an interesting fact. Wow,
it's like
that's terrible.
And then there's a ghost in it as well, which you'll see what that means in the movie.
Yeah, I did see the ghost.
The ghost, and I've been told by a load of people, be like, we love the ghost, and then other people, what's the ghost about? And I'm like, maybe. I was like, we'll see. It'll happen.
Just kind of quickly. So the thing that I love that you and Sean founded was 90 Second Julios.
Of course.
Sum up how that kind of started, because it was at Shortcuts, right? How did that start?
So
90 Second Julios.
That started. It was like actually an idea we had at 3 a.m. where it was like we're like up in the middle of the night, and we're just like talking about stuff, and like, we are third-year film production students. We don't have like a day in the week we're not doing something. Yeah. We're bored. We're going to make something even more difficult to do. We're going to make weekly films. Yeah. Like these weekly, they're like 90-second films, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's still like quite a lot. You've still got to film a film and put effort into it. And so we're like making these weekly films, and then like we were like, what can we do with them? Wait a minute, we've got this short film club that our lecturer and friend, Julio Molina, big up Julio Molina, hosts every week. So like, what if we just asked him if we can screen them and get people to vote on them? Yeah. And then whoever wins is the best filmmaker.
Have you still got those post-it notes, the logo?
I don't think we have those.
What?
We have photos of. I mean, it's like a post-it note. I have no idea where
it's the post-it note.
No,
but
also there was no the post-it note. There were several post-it notes.
Oh right.
And before it was post-it notes, it was on a whiteboard. It definitely isn't on the whiteboard anymore.
All right. Cut it out. Yeah.
I think one of our flatmates rubbed it off. Like,
what? No.
No.
So what's your favourite 90 Second Julio?
Oh God. I don't know. I don't remember any of the names. I do actually. Dwelling. I like.
Yes.
It's probably the favorite one I made again because it's made up purely of like camcorder footage from nights out.
Yeah.
So it's the one with all my friends in it, and that's my favorite one. That's the one I watch all the time because I can just watch it and be like, this is a really nice thing that I made to remember things.
I have a lot of 90 Second Julio favorites.
Yeah.
Cholera, Poop in the Water.
Yes.
The one we did,
Yes.
which was up against that, and actually my one did win against
Yes.
Bud's, Sean's one.
Yeah, it's the
But one of my all-time, there's one Parking Officer.
Oh yeah.
Sean and Matt's Out About London special.
Of course.
The Christmas special.
Yeah.
Sean and Matt, we've got to make a movie.
Yes.
You with the toothbrush.
That's-
And then you made that again.
We made that
because I was
again.
obsessed with it. But the one I'm going to make with Rob, Vane.
Oh yes.
I bloody love Vane so
Vane
much.
Vane might be the actually best one I made.
Really?
I really like. I do like
love
that
it.
one. And that was a really good time. And it was like purely made by Rob. Like Rob was like just like I think I was like, oh, I can't find anyone to be in this film. And then I was at ACT and I was like, hey Rob, do you want to meet? It was like on the Wednesday, and we were like, do you want to meet on like Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah.
Come down and we can film this thing. And it was like, yeah, I'm absolutely
Yeah.
up for that. And that's amazing. And then we just like basically dicked around in the streets of Winchester for a bit with a Canon XF405. Big up the Canon XF405. And yeah, just made
It's
this
just
really
so
just this
it's
really weird,
Yeah.
stupid film.
It's
which
not weird and stupid. It's brilliant.
It's definitely weird and stupid, but also I do like that film.
It's beautifully cut. The music.
And it's
song.
I think it's the perfect, like, out of the ones I've made, I think it's the closest to like the perfect summation of what 90 Second Julio's was.
Yeah.
Because it's also because it's just this weird thing. It's very low budget, but there's still effort there.
Yeah.
And like it's still like a fun thing that we made. And then there's a randomly for no reason there's a clip of There Will Be Blood.
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
And it's like that is like such a deep cut reference that literally only me and Sean could possibly understand.
Was it randomized because you had words and you had to
Basically,
yeah.
So originally for the first few weeks it was basically we just like came up with the rules, the other person's rules for that. We would like, here are your rules, and then we would randomize the title. So we basically challenging each other, and then we kind of put together. I think Julio put together mostly this thing on like there's a website called Perchance. It's just like a random generator would come up with like a title and a bunch of like prompts to like how to make the film. And so Vane came from the one where we were kind of giving each other rules because we were like,
do you still have the mirror? Is it your mirror?
It's my mirror. Yes, I do. It's at my parents' house.
All right. Can you get it? Because I want to do Vane 2.
Oh.
But Sean came up with an idea.
I know where you can buy it from
Vane.
because I did buy it on the day of filming because I didn't get a mirror beforehand.
Oh, where?
It's from Primark.
Primark. Okay.
Don't
cool.
shop at Primark.
Right.
Unless you want to buy that mirror.
Okay. And also, I love it where you said that when you were making the toothbrush bit, which I laughed at, that was like at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That was also at 3 o'clock in the morning.
When you were living with Sean, did you spend time with Sean like at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, because we were like busy all the rest of the time, so we were just like, let's hang out.
Really?
In the middle of the night. Yeah, also I don't sleep.
Right.
I should sleep more than I do. I do not sleep.
So you just chill out. There's a great one at the end, the last night, Second Julio's, where you're just chilling out and you're talking about something on a sofa or something.
Yes. So that never got released, and it probably never will.
What?
That's the weirdest video I think I've ever
Why?
made. It's truly. We'll talk about that on if Sean
off
ever
camera. Okay.
If Sean ever is on the show, to us together, that's when we'll talk about whatever that was.
I'm gonna. I've already mentioned these films, but there's two more questions before we get on to quickfire questions. Is that actually we can merge these two questions into one. I'd like to ask everyone on the show: is there a serious issue that you think needs to be known more in the world that you think needs to be solved? And kind of like merging the two together. Mm-hmm. What do you think of the film industry now? And is there what do you think of the film industry now?
Yeah.
Is it getting better or getting worse? And the second part of the question is, in general, could be related to film, is there a serious issue you think that needs to be solved in the world that people need to be more aware of?
Okay. So the film industry, I think, is not great at the moment. I think that's no secret. That's like it's just kind of things are like stagnating. There's like people are very overworked, underpaid. And like there's just like no funding for like small films at the moment.
Original ideas.
Yeah, original ideas. Everything's like franchised, and like that's no secret. Again, that's just like everyone knows that. But I generally feel like there is change in the world. Like we've seen it with the SAG after. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Like the strikes and all of that, and the writers' strike, and that's like amazing. Like that, basically, like people brought the film industry to its knees, like these big corporations to their knees. Just and people kept being told like this won't work. We're just gonna basically wait you out, and then it did work, and they got a really good deal, both of those things, and then like had a real profound impact. So I think change is on the horizon. I think like I don't like people are like, oh, there's never gonna be films again. Films are gonna die. Cinemas are gonna die. But they've been saying that for 20 years, like 20, 30, 40, 50, since time immemorial. We've been saying like.
But do you think cinemas are gonna die?
No, I think people like the cinema too much. People still go to the cinema.
Yeah, you do.
I love going to the cinema.
Just want to shout out that Matt and Sean went on. Just a little side note: Matt and Sean went on a train to see Lyle the crocodile.
To be fair, we went and saw Lyle the crocodile.
You told me that, and I was like. What?
We didn't specifically go and see Lyle Crocodile. We went and saw like 3 films that day.
Oh right, okay.
It was just on. We would go and watch any movie.
I thought you went on the train purely to see that film.
I mean,
and then come back.
Maybe.
Like,
what was it? I'm trying to remember what the other films we would have watched with that would have been. I remember it not. I don't think it was a great slate of 3 movies. But yeah,
we definitely did Barbieheimer as well. Oppenheimer.
We did Barbenheimer.
But sorry, but going back to the cinemas.
So I think like no one's ever gonna kill the film industry, because like what will happen is if we kill big film, people are still gonna make independent films. Like we're just gonna have like another French New Wave or whatever, like just like smaller, no budget films, and that's how you kind of rebuild that from basically rebuild it from scratch, kind of. But like. Films like art, like you can't stop people making art. Art just gets made. Like no matter what. That's to my core. That's my true belief is that like interpersonal relationships, like people matter the most, and then it's art, and then very little else really, and like the planet, like culture, like that. But it's like art is like the main thing. We are here to do is make art and make things to like just experience. I think that's what I think the most important thing that we create is. Like,
and is there a serious issue that you think in general?
I don't know. I'm trying
quite a loaded
to
question.
think. I feel like I should answer this with a funny answer, but I don't know. I can't think of a good funny answer, and I also can't think of a good serious answer. I think like there's loads of problems with in the world that needs to be addressed. I think I'm gonna mention it again, but I think homelessness there's like, especially like with the cost of living crisis and everything, it's like there's a real sort of demonization of like homeless people, and the idea of like the idea of being poor is like a moral ill that poor people put on themselves. Like it's like you are poor because you are bad, and that's and that's like, and then like the things you do are bad. Like so you buy like cheap food for your kids because it's the only thing you can afford, and that makes you a bad person. And then it's like obviously that's not true. That's just like like it's just like, and then people end up on the streets and it's like, oh yeah, you're homeless because you choose to be homeless, and it's like that's obviously not true. And like there is like so many reasons. There's so many. There's like it doesn't make any like the economy doesn't make any sense. Like money doesn't make any sense because like it's a completely structurally made up thing, and that people have hoarded to make people poor, and it's like you could solve all of these issues if you just redistribute. Well, like I don't want to like go full communist, but but it's like there. Like a lot of problems could be solved if people were just more empathetic and people cared. And that's the thing I think that people just don't do. But
that's a great answer to that question. That was a brilliant answer to that question. Yeah, and it's amazing you said the benches were that's just terrible. But yeah, thanks for that. Right, Quick fire questions.
Wonderful.
Sorry, I know it's been a long time. I don't want to keep you anymore because
That's
I
okay.
want to use the. You're a good guest to have on the show. Right, quick fire questions. Favorite film of 2023 last year?
I think the top three, in no real particular order. There's like the one I consider probably the best, my favorite was Perfect Days, Wim Wenders. Really wonderful, just like slice of life, lovely film. I cried, and I laughed and I cried. So good. It's on Mubi. Get Mubi, or if it's still in the cinema, go and see it in the cinema. Really good soundtrack. Then probably Asteroid City, Wes Anderson. I love Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Seeing that, I saw that with Sean in the cinema. That was such a good time. And then I watched it about 5 more times after that in the cinema. I was like, any opportunity it's on, I'm gonna go and see that film. And then I bought it on Blu-ray and watched it a few times there. And then Past Lives, Celine Song, such a wonderful movie, absolutely robbed at the Oscars. And yeah, that's the film I saw the most in the cinema, just because it's like mainly out of spite, because like again, bringing up Sean again, he didn't like that. We went and saw that together just before I moved to Edinburgh, which is it's funny because it's like this like it's about like a person moving away and then like things like that, and it's like you're my past lives, and then he was like he wasn't super hot on it, and then I was like I must make it my mission to watch this movie as many times out of spite, because this movie's great, and I watched it I think about 5 times in the cinema, and I think I've watched it like 3 or 4 times on Blu-ray. It's so good, and it's so easy to watch. And then Sean watched it again and he was like, yeah, I was wrong, this is a great movie.
He was wrong. Favorite film of all time?
It's Cleo from 5 to 7, which is an Agnes Varda film,
Right.
black and white French movie from the 60s. It's so, again, it's like 90 minutes, it's so rewatchable. It's like so like beautifully like shot. Like there's this one scene where it's like it's the scene where they're like singing, and not just like there's this really famous scene where it's like where the famous shot where like the camera moves on the character Cleo as they're singing, and it kind of pans around, and suddenly they're like against this black wall and they're just singing, and it's like, and this orchestra music comes in, and it's like really crazy like emotional scene that just kind of comes out of nowhere. It's so beautiful. But then even throughout previously there's another bit where they're singing, and to the music the camera sways,
right,
like to the music from character to character, who are like all like watching the character sing, and it's so it's like so unconventional and like so beautiful. It's also on Mubi. Get Mubi.
Right. I'm going to skip the third one. Favorite filmmaker. I think we all know the answer to that question.
Yeah, of course it's you.
No. Agnes Varda. Right. I put favorite camera or camcorder. Favorite camera.
Well, I think we said the Sony FDR X33.
Favorite song that you listen to forever.
Oh God. Favorite song. Because it's like I don't know if I have a favorite song. I have loads of favorite songs, and I have loads of favorite bands. But like what's the song I listen to the most? I can probably check. I'm gonna check on my what's my current top big song. This is great content, I think. Me looking at my Apple Music. What's the song I've listened to most this year? Because I could some of my favorite bands. I'll list some of my favorite.
Yeah,
bands.
you leave. Yeah.
LCD Sound System. Obviously, people who know me, I don't shut up about LCD Sound System. De La Soul. I love De La Soul. Streetlight Manifesto. Prince Daddy and the Hyena. I'm trying to think of. I've been listening to a lot of Big Thief recently. Love Big Thief. Viagra Boys, so good. Just listen to like, I just love music. There's a band called Frog. I've been listening to a band called Frog. I've been like, I think that's probably like the top of like my 2024 current playlist is just like all Frog songs. That's just like an American indie band, and so good. They made an album called Grog last year, and that's my favorite album of last year.
Cool. If you could be a person for a day, who would it be?
Oh God. If I could be a person for a day, if I was allowed to be a human being, I don't know. maybe Agnes Varda, but I don't know. Like,
Could be living or dead.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know. Like, I like being me is the thing. I like being me. If I could be a person, I don't know. Probably like some politician and do some good change for something.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know how much I could get done in a day, but like I could probably do something.
Not Ethan or Sean. Or
Not Ethan. I mean, I know Ethan and Sean. Like, I can hang out with them.
Yeah.
I guess I know what it's like. I can live their life to an extent. Like,
that is a quick question that I forgot to do. Actually, is this quickly? How did you, Ethan, your other?
Me and
how
Ethan,
did you meet Ethan?
It was 1980, and we were in Cuba. No, how did I meet Ethan? I think probably it was boring, and we just like met in a lecture. No, yes, we met in a lecture, and then how we became friends was he started messaging me about movies, and we just like talked about movies, and that's kind of how we met.
Right.
And like just like we just talked about the movies we liked, and then that's kind of how we bonded, and that's how we got him on. Based on Pair, he came and was our cinematographer.
He came later, right?
He came a bit later because we had like the core group of Alice, Chloe, me, because we kind of like kind of met up. Well, because I was like friends with Alice because we'd worked on a sound project before. Then friends with Chloe through like.
I think Chloe was film studies or something like that, wasn't she?
She was film production.
Right.
Yeah, and. Yes, we kind of met up, and then we're like, we need a cinematographer, so we had like a few options of people who we were going to ask, and then Ethan kind of came about then, and we kind of met up with Ethan, and
that's cool. That's my next question actually. Which one do you prefer?
I'm
joking.
Do I prefer?
No,
I don't know. It's like how do you want to die?
What?
How do you like? It's like choosing how you want to die.
Yeah. Or your favorite child.
My favorite child.
Actually, childhood celebrity crush.
Oh God. I'm trying to think. Again, David Byrne from Talking Heads. I love David Byrne from Talking Heads.
Talking Heads?
Talking Heads. Oh, that's the other band I should mention. I love Talking Heads, of course.
Okay.
That's great.
I don't know who that is, but Google.
Yeah. Google Talking Heads, kids. Listen to Talking Heads.
Kids.
You're gonna learn about Talking Heads when you probably download that. They're doing a tribute album, which I'm not a huge fan of because all the songs kind of sound
okay,
just like the originals, but kind of less. But no, that's another thing. Yeah, so David Byrne. I'm trying to think of like celebrity crushes. James Spader specifically in Crash 1996.
Right.
Look up, go and watch Crash 1996.
Right.
Good movie. Oh God, trying to think of other ones. Pos de Noose from De La Soul. I remember watching in like on MTV or something. The like one of the like I think probably Me, Myself and I music video. Just like he's sexy in that music video.
You have a lot, right? Moving on. Moving on. Yeah. Secret talent or unknown fact that people don't know about you. Can you play an instrument or?
No, I don't. Do I have any talents? Am I good at anything?
I
don't know if I've got any like secret talents. I'm pretty good at a pub quiz. I broke my ankle once. That's pretty interesting.
Can you do any tricks? Did you play?
Am I a dog? You a dog?
No.
I don't know. I'm like. I don't know if I've got any like. I don't really like a good go-to party trick. I'm kind of. And at one point, I went on a course, like an online. I say an online course. It was probably not quite that. I learned how to do numerology.
What the hell is that?
It's like tarot cards and stuff.
Oh, is that?
So I learned how
divination.
Yeah, I learned how to do like tarot, and I learned how to do a bit of tea reading and palm reading and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a great picture of that Elaine took of you and Izzy Jin.
Yeah,
in the MMC.
In the MMC,
and
like,
she's really happy, and I said to her, "Why are you happy?" She went, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna die." It's like, okay, according to the cards. And
yeah,
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So the next question I have is favorite drunk uni story, but I kind of changed it.
Yes.
Favorite Sean story.
Favorite Sean story. Yeah, so drunk story, not great because I don't drink.
Yeah.
That actually, I guess that's not an interesting thing. I tell that to everyone because everyone's like,
that's why I changed it.
Like,
a little bit. But favorite like funny Sean story.
I'm trying to think of things Sean's done that's funny. Comedy moments with Sean.
Has he got locked in a room accidentally or?
I remember I became his PA for Final Entry, and by PA I mean I became the person who I basically became his alarm clock because like there was multiple times where I had to like knock on his door in the morning where I was like, Sean, I'm not even on this shoot today. I'm doing something else, but I know that Sean is on a shoot. And I have to wake him up.
Yeah, you woke him up, didn't you?
When we were living together, and it's like I just like wake him up and get him. And it's like that's pretty funny.
Yeah, you woke him up, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to wake him up every time, like multiple times.
Multiple
times, yeah. And that's only for that film. Other things I also had to wake him up for other things as well.
Really?
Yeah, because he was like. There's this idea of like, because we had loads of classes together where we're like, it's great, we're going to be living together, we could walk to class together.
Yeah.
And then we never did because I always went to class like to get there a bit early.
Yeah.
And he was there 20 minutes late every time.
Well, funny you say that. We were to do lovely New Year's together.
Yes.
And we were supposed to leave at 10 and Sean was still in bed.
Yeah.
Like, Sean, get up.
Yeah. Sean just...
Time management,
Sean is a sleepy boy.
Yeah.
For real.
What is something in your in your room or whatever that you need to throw out? It's something that you need to throw out.
God. There's a camera I bought from I went to in Edinburgh. In Leith in Edinburgh. There's a car boot sale where it's in like a multi-story car park. It's really cool time if you're ever up there. It's just like a big car boot sale where, like on 2 stories of a multi-story car park. And I bought this camera and it does not work because you need to download specific software to use it because it's like an old camera.
Really? Wow.
So, yeah, because essentially you can take a photo with it, but it doesn't have a screen, so you can't look at the photo, and you can't get it off your computer without downloading specific software for it, which came with it on a disc, but I can't put that disc in my computer.
Wow.
And it's like this thing, but I still have it on a shelf. I have 2 of those because I also have a Polaroid one like that. Not like a Polaroid brand camera, not a Polaroid instant camera.
And you want to throw it out?
Guess. Well, I mean, there's no reason for me to own it. It's like it's not good camera to begin with. It's like less than a megapixel. And
that's interesting thing that we went to. It's last year actually. Went to Southampton. And we all had camcorders.
Yeah.
And we had 4 hours of footage.
Yes.
But it was only 4 gigabytes.
Yes.
Which was crazy.
That was crazy. Well, we'd like 4 hours. I was like, oh my god, how am I going to edit this into anything? Like 4 hours of footage.
That's crazy. What keeps you up at night?
The ghosts.
Ghosts?
The ghosts.
Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
Oh.
I don't know what keeps me up at night. I don't think anything. I just like it's all like boring. Like I don't know. Like I don't know if I want to get into a lot of it, but it's like I have like recently, like as a symptom of my anxiety, I have become a hypochondriac. It's like the least fun symptom of it. Like not the least fun, but like one of the less fun. Well, there are no fun things about anxiety particularly.
No, I have. Yeah.
But it's like, and I got super worried about my teeth. I'm still quite worried about my teeth, even though there's nothing wrong with my teeth.
There's nothing wrong with your teeth.
Yeah, I know. I'm convinced that my teeth are gonna fall out or something terrible is gonna happen. And that's basically what keeps me up. And like then I had like not health scare, but I had like a health not even like a really health issue. I just that's a health concern. And then like I was like, oh no, I'm gonna die. And it's like that's kind of what keeps me up at night. And it's like I don't know. Well,
that was a very interesting answer to that question. Usually people say trash or work, but
work. I mean, I'm just not very good at sleeping. Like I'm up really late at night and I wake up very early, and it's like
really,
yeah,
you wake up early.
Yeah,
shit.
It's just about like making it through.
How's staying at how the sleeping facilities at the?
I'm sleeping on a sofa.
Sleeping on the sofa.
I'm sleeping on a leather sofa, and I forgot to bring a blanket, but it's fine. It's warm. It's too warm.
Nice.
It's warm. So I just like.
Window or aisle on a plane?
God, I don't like flying. Not because I'm scared of heights. I'm a very big person.
Right. Well, what about coach?
Yeah.
Did you sit next to the window in the coach, or?
Well, it's the same thing where it's like I don't like confined spaces for being there for too long. I guess I would say on a train, I like a window seat because it's like you have 2. So I generally have a window seat. What I like is I like having a window seat and then no one sat next to me. That's the best one. Yeah. But on a plane, when like every seat is filled, I guess aisle seat because it's the most legroom, and also it feels like I can escape.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going anywhere. I'm not getting off the plane when it's mid-flight, but like I feel like I'm not trapped in. Also, like I got long, big feet, long legs, big feet. It's like.
Yeah, Axby has long. Every time I
Yeah.
think of tall people, I think of Matt Axby. Cats or dogs?
I like both. I think cats though. Like
Cats?
I think if I was to get a pet, I would get a cat.
Do you have a pet at home?
I have a cat. Yeah, my mum has a cat, and my dad also has 2 cats.
Oh, so cats. Right.
Cats, yeah.
Cats. If you time traveled, where would you go?
This is one of those things where it's like, the whole born in the wrong generation thing. Where I'm like, I think, like today has loads of problems. Like we have loads of problems in our modern world, very obviously. But like, I don't think I would want to be born anywhere else in time. Maybe in the future, I guess. But
Really?
like, I don't know. The future's uncertain, so I don't want to say that. But it's like, I guess the place I would time travel back to is probably like the 90s or the 80s.
Yeah,
Because I love
same.
old camera equipment.
Yeah.
And then go and grab some of that. But I don't know what I'm going to do in the 1500s. Like, there's nothing there. It's just like a bunch of old people with the most, like, not even like conservative views. They don't even understand what politics is yet. And it's like, they don't know what a pronoun is. They don't want to use they, them, are they?
Favorite word?
Oh God. What's my favorite word? I've got a favorite word. I swear a lot. I do swear a lot.
Camcorder?
Camcorder. I like the word camcorder. Mavica.
What's Mavica mean?
It's like it's a camera. It's a kind of camera. It's a camera that shoots on floppy disk.
Oh, right, okay.
The Sony Mavica. I don't know, like... So I know that people have described the word fuck as the most... Can I swear on this program?
Yeah,
okay.
whatever.
But it's like the most versatile word because it can be like any sort of like adjective, and it's like, that's a good word.
Yeah.
It's the perfect word.
Swearing's good. Yeah. Sorry, kids. Guilty pleasure.
I don't know. I don't know if I have any guilty pleasures because I believe in liking things wholeheartedly without.
But is that like
guilt.
like you know, like I say, like chocolate or reality show?
I'm not a coffee connoisseur.
When are you going to do that documentary on coffee?
I was at one point. That never happened. Maybe it'll happen at some point. Who knows? But I'm not a coffee connoisseur. I love coffee. I drink coffee all the time. Like I try not to make it like my personality, but you know. But like if somewhere does coffee, I will drink it. And like, so I just drink no matter the quality, I will drink terrible quality coffee. And I really like it because it's like, and again, it's like I don't drink alcohol, so it's like if I'm at Spoons, I'll get the £1.50 refillable terrible coffee that makes you feel ill. I'm going to drink 17 cups of coffee and either I don't know, have a great time or have a panic attack.
Yeah, my brother loves hot chocolate, and we went to like a car sales place.
Oh yeah.
And he had like 13 cups of hot chocolate in one day.
I remember that because it's something similar. My dad's a wine connoisseur.
Really?
Yes.
Is that his job?
Well, he's a teacher now. He used to be a wine merchant.
Yeah. What do your parents do? So your dad's a teacher.
My dad's a teacher. My mum's a finance person.
Oh right. So your dad is a hobby.
As he's very knowledgeable on wine and cheese. And when I was young, well, he still does it. But when we would go with him when I was a kid, we'd go to the Wine Society in Stevenage, which is a big building full of wine.
Wow.
And he'd go and look at wine. I'm gonna cough again. Sorry.
Wine.
And when we were there at the Wine Society, they had a coffee machine, and I would drink so much coffee when I was probably too young to be doing that.
That's a bit offensive to the wine people.
Well, it's because I can't drink wine when I'm like 13. Or like when I'm like,
that's true. All right.
10 or 11.
Not have a sip?
I mean, maybe. I don't know if they'll let me because it's
right.
like you're not supposed to.
That's true.
And also then I don't drink, and it's like, I don't know. That came later, but like the child of a wine merchant.
I want to see you next time I see you at Spoons. I will see if you do the wine thing where you
with coffee.
No, with the coffee. Smell
yes,
it.
a good year.
Do you have a favorite superhero?
I guess so. I when I was younger, I used to read some comics. And my favorite superhero is Martian Manhunter.
Martian Man?
Yeah, he's like this green Martian dude who can shapeshift. He's a bit like Superman, but he's like weak against fire, and he can shapeshift. And he's really cool, and he was my favorite character, and that's why like all of my social media handles are like Manhunter.
Yeah.
And that's funny now, being non-binary. It's like having man in your
Mash. What? Oh, right. Okay. Is that
Yeah.
Marvel, DC?
DC.
All right. DC or Marvel?
I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care. It's like I can't
Don't
be
care.
dealing with any of that. I mean, I guess DC. I think like I like some of the Batman movies more than I like
Yeah.
the best Marvel
Do you
movies.
still go to see like Marvel? Do you see the Marvels?
I
for
will watch
example?
any movie.
You
I
went
will,
all the way to see the Marvels?
well, I didn't go all the way to. I didn't go all the way anywhere to watch the Marvels because I watched that in Edinburgh and I live 5 minutes away from an Odeon.
All right.
I live like literally like across the street from an Odeon.
Is there? That's a good question. Is there a film that you dislike? That's a good question. What's your least favorite film?
I guess my least favorite film. I don't like hating on movies. I think it's more important to be positive about the movies you
Because a lot of
love
people
than
work on them.
the movies you hate. I did the saying that I did just watch Rebel Moon last night, and that was awful. I watched it for the second time.
The second time.
And it's so bad. But whatever. I don't want to like dwell on that. My least favorite film of all time is Transformers 5. I watched that in the cinema when I was like, that was like another like relatively revelatory experience for me, where it's like getting into like being a film person, and it's like this is like I hate this movie so much, it's so bad, and like I don't want to dwell on things like that, but it's like I think that's a good bad like movie to dislike because it's not like an indie film that people have worked like people like worked hard on that film, I guess. But it's not like no budget, like everyone on that film got paid probably something.
Mine's Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
That's also fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I
for
almost
like
walked out.
moral reasons.
Hated that film. Almost walked out.
Don't go and watch any Harry Potter movies, not even as a joke.
Yeah.
Like,
What do you think you should separate?
Watch them on DVD or whatever. Don't go and watch the new ones in the cinema.
But do you think that's like say with like Woody Allen and stuff like that? Do you think it's
No,
interesting to separate the art from the artist, like with Harry Potter?
Well, it really depends. Like, I think, yeah, sure. I think I think you can if you want to. I think you can enjoy things that are made by maybe not the best people.
Yeah.
And like, but then again, you shouldn't then turn to people who don't want to like interact with that stuff and be like, you're wrong for not doing that.
Yeah.
Let me like my thing. I think it's perfectly all right. It's perfectly reasonable to not want to like interact with that stuff.
Understand why, and also understand why people don't want to watch it.
The thing is, with certain things, you also have to realize that sometimes financially, like reading going to a charity shop and buying a copy of Harry Potter, like an old copy of Harry Potter. That's like obviously that's fine because like you're not giving anyone any money apart from like the charity. Yeah. But if you go and watch in the cinema the new whatever Harry Potter thing, you are like contributing, especially the deals that J.K. Rowling has made with these companies. She gets a lot of that cut. So it's like that's the thing you've got to keep in mind.
Same with McDonald's as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I can't live without McDonald's.
Free Palestine.
Next question: photos or videos?
Oh God. What do you, in what sense?
Which one do you prefer?
I like. I mean, I when I'm on a night out, I'm shooting videos. Like, on my camcorder. But I do love photography as well.
So which one?
I guess video because I'm a filmmaker.
Right,
so.
okay. Oh.
But I love
photography. Won't be happy with you.
I love still photography. Well, it's like photography's easy. If you're a photographer, you're a hack. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Last quick fire question.
Yes.
It's quite weird asking this question and not getting Matt Warlow in response when I have a guest. Who would you like to see on the show next? What's next?
Who would be cool to be on this show? The thing I want to pitch to you at some point is I want to do like a meta, maybe like an April 1st or something, like a joke episode where it's you interviewing yourself.
Yes,
like doing like a split screen.
Yeah. I actually had thought about that with. Did you see the Inspector Kirby film?
Yes.
I want to do that. I want to do that with me interviewing Inspector Kirby.
That would be a cool idea. To be honest, I think we should get Werner Herzog in his movies. I think
my mum
really
met him once, and
I think it'd be really interesting to have that guy on.
That would be interesting. Yes. Yeah. Anyone else that we know? Ethan, I'm gonna have on Sunday.
Who should be on here? I'm trying to think.
Sean.
Get Jimmer on here.
Yeah. Yes.
Get Jimmer on here.
He doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to.
No. Jimmer
Come
doesn't want to.
on, come
I know. Yeah.
on.
Jimmer.
Jimmer.
Yeah. Jimmer's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmer, I'd love to have on. Maybe we could do one of those like crime interviews where we blur his face out in the dark. So, friend, is there anyone, friends and family you like to shout out to and thank on the show?
I want to shout out. I've got to remember people's names now.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of friends, mutual friends. We've
Yeah,
got Jacob, Becca,
yeah, Jacob, Ed, Becca,
Ethan,
Sean, Tamo, Dan, Rob. All of the Robs, Rob Griffith, Rob Ferrin, Julio Molina,
Julio.
Fiona,
Cullen Calum.
Calum maybe, Cullen, I don't know.
Catherine Jimmer.
Yeah. V of course, and everyone. This is bad. The more people I name, the more
we forget.
The more we forget, and like
Alex, Tom,
Alice, wherever you are.
All your Scotland friends.
All my Scotland friends. Marie, Trestrail.
Yeah. My family.
They know who they are.
What was great, actually, it was a great day, was that I unfortunately couldn't get into the cathedral to see your graduation. Because, we both, a lot of my good friends are third years. And we were in this projector room and we were waiting for your name. They got your name wrong, by the way.
They got my name wrong.
Yeah.
And
graduation.
I don't want to badmouth the university.
Yeah.
I've paid a lot of money to be here.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
But I was waiting with Izzy Cross and Axby's brother, and we were all waiting to hear the names. And Matt, they got your name wrong.
Yeah.
And I was gonna shout, scream and shout, but behind me, somebody had already done my job when your name got.
Wow.
And I think it was your sister and your stepdad, I think, that were
of course
screaming. I was like, there's some Matt Warlow fans in the audience. What?
Well,
so yeah, that was
nice. To know
that
they're really rooting for me.
Yeah,
I should shout out my sister Maddie. You wrote a really nice thing on the back of on some postcards that you gave to me at my graduation. I don't think I ever really said thank you enough for those. I have the postcard you gave me. I had them both blue tacked over my desk in my room.
That was a good day, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was very emotional. I got very emotional because it's like that's it. You're gone.
Are you going to come up for my graduation this year?
That's a good idea.
Everyone,
we should all do a trip.
Yeah,
that's why I changed the group name from Scotland.
You can't all come and sleep on my floor, unfortunately. I don't think there's enough room.
I think I've got Mum's friends in
if you've
Scotland.
got friends in Scotland,
I could
come up and see us.
I'll do that. Is there any social Instagrams that your Hard Press Media?
Yes, Hard Press Media at on things. It's the grey and pink logo HP. You'll find it. It's all fine. Matt_Warlow Instagram.
90 Second Julio's on YouTube.
90 Second Julio's on YouTube. Charcoal Mule. Shout out Charcoal Mule.
What's Charcoal
Big
Mule?
up Charcoal Mule. Charcoal Mule's my new art collective.
Trying
cool. New things out. Charcoal Mule on Instagram and also YouTube, I think.
Right. Well.
Also, make sure to like and subscribe this video. Come back for more. Big shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Kirby.
No. Matt.
The definitive Matt.
They are the legend.
Of the course.
Thank you, but no, you were very, very high on my list.
Good.
Very high.
I'm glad. This was on my high on my list of the press tour of all of the things I'm working on.
You are literally on a press tour.
Yeah, this is my one stop.
yeah, everyone wants to see you. But listen, Matt, I mean, I have to admit, I do adore you and I love you, and you're one of my dear, dear friends, and a lot of people here, on behalf, a lot of people do love you in the MMC. It's again, I miss you. A lot of other people miss you. And this was a dream. Thank you. I did keep you here. It's probably the longest one I've ever done. But you're one of my dear friends, and I do adore you. And I wish you all the luck with your filmmaking. I think you're the next Agnes Varda.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah. And
thanks
I love
so much.
Your
I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be with you and
and I can't wait to do the New Year. Hopefully, New Year.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to come up to Scotland for New Year's.
Yeah, that's a good
It's very
point.
close. They got great. They go all out in Edinburgh for New
Really?
Year's. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't want to end it because I love this. For that, sign my book.
Oh yeah. Do I do that on screen or?
You could do if you want.
Yeah.
There you go. Episode 14.
Of course.
Please do. I'm gonna say. I always say. That's Chat and That podcast. CT Plus, whatever. Harrison Ford. Yeah. Please come on my show. Please come on my show. I love Harrison Ford to come on the show.
Do you want me to put my name underneath as well?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay.
But Matt, thank you so much for coming on, and good luck with everything. And you're very missed. I can't express it enough.
I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so glad to talk to all my friends, and they're all so talented, and I can't wait to see what they all do.
Yeah.
Especially you, Matt. You're gonna go far, kid.
What?
You're gonna go far.
No, absolute legend, and also an icon and a person that we should all kind of not lead by. You lead a good example.
Thank you.
You lead a
I
good
try my
example.
best.
A good person to look up to. Thank you very much. Let's chat now.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much. That's it.